What's going on, people? Welcome back to Premier League Unpacked, episode 19, people. Weekend results show. Game week 3 is officially done. MNF football is over, and Manchester United have stunned Liverpool, people. They have stunned Liverpool. What are you saying, Bish? You good, my bro?
Fair play. You know, credit where it's due. I mean, we might as well just jump straight into that game. It
Straight
feels
into
so
it, bro.
fresh, bro. Yeah, man. I mean, you know what? It's a weird one because it don't feel like a major surprise, even though I don't want to dampen like the achievement or like that's not me going back on how dire I think things are over there. But I could kind of see it happening after such two devastating first two results. And then you've got Liverpool. It's just, in some ways, the perfect opportunity to try and just get the players up at least for one game and just, you know, obviously we can speak to the Liverpool side of it in a minute, but credit where it's due to United.
Yeah.
You know,
We'll touch on
people stepped
United
up.
first. Definitely touch on United
He
because,
made some big changes, didn't he? To the
bro,
lineup, he made some brave changes.
he
Do you know
showed
what I
some
mean?
cojones. You get
Yeah,
me? He
yeah,
showed
yeah,
some
yeah,
cojones. Took
yeah,
Ronaldo out the team,
yeah.
left him
Took
on the
Maguire out the
bench.
team.
Maguire, the captain, took him out the team. And
Yeah,
you know what? You got to give him the fair dues because I'm one
100%.
of them. I've been saying it from the very start. Even though they've won this game, I still don't think that United are going to be doing anything special unless they can add to bringing in to Casemiro as well. If they can add to that
Yeah,
signing, then there's a possibility. But from at the start of the season, they were playing with the same team that they more or less had last season, which finished 11 points adrift off Arsenal. And they had to kind of build that bridge to even challenge if they want to go further past that point. And at the moment, Liverpool, they didn't look too great. But like you said, Ten Hag, he made some changes. He brought in Marcus Rashford up front, give him an opportunity up top. And they played well from the minute get-go. It looked like they had a bee in the bonnet and they were after the game where Liverpool looked quite lethargic. I don't know where your thoughts are on him chopping up the team.
so yeah, I mean, unfortunately I didn't get to see the game in full because I was out and about driving. But um, I think even just when you look at the decisions he'd made, you look at him leaving Ronaldo, leaving Maguire out. It, like you said, it kind of shows that he's got some guts in him, and also that he kind of knows. And United fans know, and everyone knows, kind of on the pitch, some of the big decisions that needed to be made. Obviously, we can talk about the other problems that are going on at United and the longer term things and reasons why I don't think they're going to do anything special this season. I don't think it's like, oh, everything's okay again now because they were able to put in a good performance against Liverpool. But it does show that a lot of what's going on is on the pitch level is kind of to do with this toxic atmosphere and feeling. A lot of those players were players. There was a moment early in Rashford's career. I remember when he came to the Etihad and scored a screamer against City, and there was a moment where you thought, yo, this guy might be about to be one of the best in the world. And then his career obviously has been impacted by coming into his own during the period when United have just been trash after trash and just bad vibes over there. So you see a glimpse from them getting up for a big game and from him making some big decisions and maybe kind of showing his belief in certain other players to step up, like a Rashford, like a Sancho. He got his rewards in a way because they showed what they are capable of if they could get everything else out of the way. The thing is, in football, it's not that straightforward, and one game isn't going to get all that out of the way. All the stuff that's going on with the owners, all the stuff that's going on with Ronaldo, you know, this mishmash of players from different managers, all the stuff we've been talking about isn't just going to go away. But if you're a United fan, it does give you a bit of hope that one, there's still some heart there, and two, that there might still be some quality in that squad buried amongst a lot of other messy stuff that's going on over there. So a good evening for United. I haven't watched the game to speak to what went wrong with Liverpool, but I could see even on my phone that I think before that Salah goal, at whatever minute that was in the game, they'd only had one shot on target. So yeah,
Yeah,
they've been
they
dominating
weren't
possession,
great,
but
bro. They were dead food, bro. And I'll be honest with you, see with Liverpool before the game as well, I was messaging my boys and that saying, look, yeah, if United are going to win, it's probably the best opportunity to do so now because
yeah,
Liverpool's midfield are looking crazy weak, and they've been pretty poor over the last two games as well. They haven't been the same Liverpool that they once was over the last couple of seasons.
yeah,
Whether that's the impacts of Sadio Mane leaving the club, which I think's had a massive
huge
impact on him
impact.
because what a player he is. And just losing him in general, the intensity that you're losing, it's massive, bro. You get me? And you can clearly see it's had an impact, not only just on the forward line, but also on Robertson on the left side as well, because that's his link-up play, and you're not going to be getting the best out of him. And all round, bro, it was just a bad night in the office for Liverpool. United had a little bit of luck in certain senses, and to be fair, you got to have luck to win these kind of games. I think Martinez could have scored an own goal. De Gea made a good save. Bruno Fernandes could have scored an own goal. Martinez saved it off the line. So on another day, it could have probably went either way. I personally thought it might have been a draw because both teams ain't so great at the moment. But you got to give United fair dues, Bish. This is what I'm saying. But when we're moving on to Liverpool now, do you think that's them done for the title? I know it's early, but they're not seeing great signs from Liverpool right now.
Man, I mean, before I even had a thought on how Liverpool have been this evening, I was already thinking in my head, Marcel is going to come up in the comments and remind man to not get too carried away off one or two games. And then I looked in the comments and I see Marcel saying it was shocking. So then, you know, I'd like to hear his thoughts, to be fair, do you know what I mean, on the situation and from a Liverpool fan's perspective, because as a City fan, I don't want to speak too soon and get carried away with how they're looking now versus how they'll do over the course of the season. They've still got a top manager. They've still got Salah. They've still got Van Dijk. They've still got top players in there. Like, yes, losing Mane is a huge loss. And I think, like you said, if that starts to travel down that whole left side of the pitch, by the time it's affecting Robertson, it's affecting Van Dijk. If it's affecting Van Dijk, now it's affecting the once like fortress kind of solidness of that back four. You know what I mean? Suddenly Trent is looking like defensively, like players that were coming up against Trent tonight, you know, your Sanchos and your Rashfords were probably thinking, with both of them fullbacks, all of a sudden they've gone from maybe being intimidated by him to like, oh, I can't wait to go at Alexander-Arnold tonight. I can't wait for him to make a mistake or to...
To be fair, it looked like they were targeting him in that game.
100%.
It looked like there was 100% targeting Trent. He didn't have his best game at all. Looked very average. Didn't really offer much going forward. Was poor defensively. And to be fair, these men just didn't look at the races today. And whether that's because of United had a little bit more energy, they were closing down better. Obviously, taking Maguire out of the team as well, it is actually being a massive plus for United because he's a player that gives people a little bit of worry around him, his own defenders, his goalkeeper, because he has got mistakes in him and he is a little bit dopey with it. Martinez, I got to give him credit. He came in and he looked it good. He looked it like he put in a solid performance. But these are the games I think he's built for, them big games where he can put his passion and his character across and you'll get the best out of him in them kind of games. It's more with United, it's the lesser teams like the Brightons that play good football that are putting them on toast. Can they then now, after this game against Liverpool, can they go to Southampton and continue that? For me personally, I think it's going to be a difficult game for them against Southampton. Because with Southampton, you don't know which Southampton you're going to get. You're going to get the Southampton that you could just go there and steamroll over, or you get the Southampton that turn up, and just do a number on you. So it is going to be exciting to see.
This United team, in some ways, you know, it benefits from being the team that's trying to play on the break. Obviously, when United, you know, are turning up at some of these other teams in the league, they may be trying to be a bit more on the front foot. They may be pressing in a different way or being allowed to press in a different way than they are against, say, a Liverpool or a City. So they're not necessarily counter-attacking, they're being counter-attacked on, you know what I mean? And then suddenly guys like Lisandro Martinez don't look so solid when it's like, you know, teams with kind of pace that are being pushed back by United, breaking on them and defense being exposed and stuff. So maybe, you know, maybe he's going to just come good. Maybe he needs the right pieces around him. Or maybe it is, like you said, that he's going to be better in these games against the kind of like top level teams, the teams that are playing that more kind of Champions League football, possession football, like you're not really getting hit directly with, you know, either a big striker or, you know, fast kind of direct striker. So be interesting to see, like you say, how he copes with even like what's that lad called at Southampton, Armstrong?
Yeah.
I don't know how great of a player he is, but he's fast, you know what I mean? How is he going to deal with that in the context of a game where United won't be, you know, kind of sitting back and pushed back by Liverpool? So, you're not going to get carried
To
away.
be fair, this game, they weren't even really pushed back. That first half they had, Bish. Obviously, I know you was out grafting and stuff, so you didn't catch it all. But that first half they had, I got to give them credit. They were on the front foot. They played some good football. The goal that Sancho scored, there was a lot of technique to it. And to be fair, they were good. I got to give them the dues. I'm the first one to take the piss out of United and laugh at them and all of that. But they done a number on Liverpool in the sense of just outwitting them tactically. And I think you got to give Ten Hag credit for that. I just think Liverpool just did not look like the Liverpool that we've been seeing over the last couple of seasons. And whether I think they had about maybe 8 first-team players out from selection, the bench looked very weak. They didn't look like anything can come off the bench and change the game round. And whether that's going to be a detriment to their season going forward, personally, unless they start recruiting, I think it's going to be a very tough season for Liverpool. I don't think we're going to see the same Liverpool that we once did a few seasons back. Do you know what I mean? Now, with Darwin Núñez, Thiago, they travelled to the game, was watching the game from the stands, looked pretty upset. But this is, I think, what you're going to get with the Darwin Núñez. I think he's got red cards in him, suspensions in him because of the type of player he is. And I think with Klopp, it's going to be interesting now what we see going forward, how he grabs this group of players and see, can he just make it a little blip, something like City had last season at the start, and turn it on its head? Personally, I don't think so, bro. I think you might have a clear run, and we might be challenging you, fam.
Told you, bro. I told you. I watched Arsenal this weekend. That was the only game that I'd seen almost in full, and they look good, bro.
Let me just pull up this question from Craig Bish. Will this win from United give them the confidence to push on from here, finally, where the Liverpool go from here? So we kind of just touched on it a little bit as well. I'll let you answer that. I'll put that question to you first.
I think probably that win will help United stop the slide. Like all the crazy talk that was happening, like man saying United will get relegated or United will fit. Like, it stops the sliding results where that becomes a possibility. Do you know what I mean? If United gets spanked tonight by United.
Oh, I think you're on mute. Check there. I think something might happen to your mic. Sure. People, while he's fixing his mic, I'm going to answer that question. When he jumps back in, he can jump on. But yeah, I think with United, just touching on what Tom was saying there, I feel like the win is definitely going to take pressure off him. 100% going to take pressure off him. Reason being is because if they would have lost this game, that would have been 3 defeats on a bounce. Now, as Arsenal, we lost last season 3 games on a row, and we've seen how it panned out. Everything turned into a meltdown, myself included. It was just all turned shits up. And by them beating Liverpool, and to be fair, Liverpool's been one of the best teams in the league over the last few seasons. You can't really... you can't take nothing away from him. They got the 3 points. They're now above Liverpool in the table. They're at 14th, sitting pretty in 14th. But yeah, I think it'll only give them confidence to push on from here. Southampton, that's going to be a real test, because no matter what, it depends on how many games you can... Oh, are you back with us? It depends on... Just touching off on... just answering that United question.
I could hear you. Sorry about
that. It just depends on the run of form, the momentum you can get building up. So I think that Southampton game is going to be really important for United moving forward. If they slip at that game, the pressure is going to be right back on, and people are just going to say, lucky win at Liverpool. Liverpool weren't at their best. And the signing of Casemiro coming to the United Stadium beforehand and getting revealed, gave everybody a lift and all of that kind of stuff. But Liverpool, where did they go from here? I'll put it back to you in a second, Bish. But just to finish off, Liverpool, where did they go from here? If they don't start winning games and winning games fast, people are going to start losing a lot of confidence within Liverpool, and that might cause some serious unrest within their camp and belief and momentum and stuff like that moving forward. So unless they can start winning and winning fast and winning in style, I feel like it's going to be a tough, long season for Liverpool. Go on, Bish. I'll let you finish off what you were saying on that before you cut out.
I can't remember where I was at. I was enjoying listening to your point on it. I mean, I didn't really get to catch the game, so I can't speak too much to what the performance said.
But just about the win, what the 3 points will do for United.
I think for United, obviously it's a much better situation than if they'd lost. I don't think it fixes any of the problems they had. I just think that it gives them maybe a bit more hope, a bit more belief that they can, maybe put a run together or put a performance out that can beat top teams in this league or bottom teams in this league. That's going to be the challenge, is the consistency. I think that they'll probably maybe go and win at Southampton, but then I wouldn't be surprised if they then went on another bad run of dropping points again. I don't think, because also like the mood can change totally again if in like 4 days time a big story comes out with Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean? Ronaldo's leaving, or Ronaldo wants to leave, or do you know what I mean? Like that's the part of the problem with having those big name players in the squad, is like, even tonight with United winning, in the back of your mind you're thinking, is there going to be like some kind of story that unfolds about Ronaldo not playing and how it makes it, like, that's a problem that you feel like, and I think for United, especially after tonight, if I was like, if it was possible, and I had a say in kind of transfer dealings at United, I'd be thinking, let's just try and get rid of him. Let's see.
Well, doesn't this game just show people and show United fans that they don't really need Ronaldo in the sense to win games, because he came on with the last, like, say, 7 minutes to go, and he didn't really impact the game within them 7 minutes. But could you just say Ten Hag's using him correctly now? He's an old player who can come off the bench and make an impact here and there. But do you reckon the
ego won't allow that? Ronaldo's ego ain't going to allow him to be some Ole Gunnar Solskjaer player that comes on for like the last 5 minutes to try. Like, that's not, And if Ten Hag's even thinking about that, then there'll be a conversation happening probably right now between Ronaldo or Ronaldo's representatives and United about, okay, what are we doing now in the next week and a half? Because if you're not going to be playing me in big games, then I absolutely need to go. Do you know what I mean? Ronaldo, I don't think would allow that. Massive thank you to the NHS and the surgeon who repaired my arm. Surgery was a success. Unbelievable job they do. Respect. Love that, man.
Now, you know what? I'm not going to lie, yeah. Some of the NHS, are good in that, but some of them as well, I'm just not going to throw no shade on it. But man was in A&E for about 9 hours, and it was a mad thing. A lot of them didn't have no manners and respect, So big up to the NHS people that got the manners and respect. The ones who ain't got the manners and respect, they need a new line of work, because working with vulnerable people, you need some compassion. You get me?
I hear that.
Hope you get better soon, though, Craig.
100%. Health and blessings, bro. Definitely. But yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I think Ronaldo is probably will think, if I'm not going to be being played in these big games, if this is going to be a consistent theme, then he'll want to go. He ain't going to want to sit on the bench. He ain't got time like that, and he's chasing records and he's chasing Messi, and you can't afford to have a season where he's just, playing sporadically and not getting.
When does he look at it and think, right, okay, I need to become that bit part player just to save a bit of his energy in his own tank and that? Do you reckon he's still got 2-3 good seasons left in him?
I think Ronaldo could go somewhere else in a different system and either be happy being that, like, and this is where it's funny, because I don't know how real it was about Ronaldo ever coming to City. But if Ronaldo had come to City, I don't think this transfer would have gone the way it's gone. Do you know what I mean? I could have imagined City probably would have gone on to win the Champions League. He would have, if it could have worked, and if his personality and ego could have meshed with Pep's, and he could have given Pep the respect of being a winner, but Pep also understanding and knowing what Ronaldo wanted. Maybe in that scenario, Ronaldo don't mind sometimes coming off the bench for the last 20 minutes, because more time he'd be coming off the bench for 20 minutes with a 6 team that's already 2 goals up maybe, and is cutting, or is, and he might be scoring a hat-trick in that time with De Bruyne and people like that on the pitch. So maybe in that scenario, Ronaldo acquiesces, but I don't think at United, where it's like, so what, you man might be losing in a big game and I'm just on the bench and I've got no faith in the guys that are on the pitch in front of me, and I've got no faith that when I come on it's necessarily going to be a good situation where I'm getting opportunities to score. I think he is at this point in his career, he's shown he's driven by like stats, and this is where I think people get thrown off with this whole I hear it a lot now, like people saying this player's a 20 goal a season player or 15 goal 12 assists, like the numbers of a player, and feeling like that if the player goes, you lose them goals. But one, obviously that player is going to be replaced by someone else in that position that may or may not get as many goals or get some goals. But also that doesn't speak to if Ronaldo gets 25 goals in a season, but United score 50 less goals in that season because of the fact that the system isn't working and the other players are suffering because of the style of then it's not you're not losing 20 goals a season. You might get more goals as a team the next year with a team that's functioning properly. So I think people get too caught up on that. I think United fans, it would be good for United. I think it would be good for Ronaldo to go somewhere else where he can just be sick if he went Sporting Lisbon or somewhere like that and then was killing, or maybe not Sporting Lisbon, but that's the question is where would he go?
Just whilst we're on the topic of Ronaldo, yeah, and let me just answer this for Craig because I just seen him with this here. Look, man, I'm not trying to kill off the NHS, yeah, set time, and I respect the surgeons. It's just not all of the NHS is that great, bro. Believe what I'm trying to say, and if you believe so, then Ras, man's deluded in it. The surgeons do a good job, yeah. A lot of the staff in the A&E, and they still work for the NHS as well. You know what I mean? They're not working for a different.
The NHS. It's not even when we're talking about how big it is. We're not even talking like a business like McDonald's or Starbucks. The NHS is every doctors, every hospital, in the whole country, and it's.
Bro, I've had surgery myself. I've had surgery as well.
There's a million people working there.
I mean, I've had surgery that could be life-threatening as well. Do you know what I mean? So realistically, I come across surgeons that were good. Come across some surgeons that weren't so great as well. But one thing I must say about the NHS of lately, especially in Manchester, I don't know what it's like anywhere else, but if you do go A&E and that, it's a mad thing. That's all I'm saying, innit?
But you gotta understand that is because of the fact that money ain't been put into the NHS. Money's being cut back.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about manners and respect, bro. You get me? That's what I'm talking about. Like they're representing their country. I'm not trying to get into a big debate about NHS, bro. But the bottom line of it is, big man thing. The bottom line of it is, it doesn't. I understand what you're saying, bro. But you got to look at it from a humanity standpoint. You get me?
Of course.
Dealing with people and that, you have manners and respect. You get me? And so a lot of people, I doubt, don't have that manners and respect.
Let me land. I'm not saying there's ever an excuse in any walk of life, no matter what strain you're under, to be like lacking in compassion, especially if you're dealing with people that are in like serious health situations. Like that's, do you know what I mean? But with that being said, we're all human, and if you're working in an A&E department, which is like half as much staff as it should have. People are working over the hours, not getting paid for the hours that they're working overtime, but having to stay because no one else is there. And if they're not, then the whole A&E is just... Because if they're not there, then the A&E is even worse because now there's nobody. And now, do you know what I mean? So...
Yeah, but bro, there's millions of people there, bro. There's millions of people out there that could take their place and have their job and do a better job than them because they're more invested. There is
no, but I'm saying there's not millions of people. Bro,
let's move on to NHS because I'm getting pissed off now about NHS, bro. And what I'm trying to say is you weren't there and seen my experience.
But I'm not defending everybody.
So what I'm trying to say, bro, I could pull up bare shit when NHS are being done for negligence and all of that, bro.
Of course, bro. You're making it out like I'm the NHS guy. You're making it out like I'm like
you're coming at
NHS people.
NHS
I'm not, bro. What I'm saying is, there's going to be shit people. There's going to be some good people. You said that at the start. There's some sick people that work in the NHS. There's some shit people that work in the NHS. There's hundreds of thousands of people that are working in the NHS. There's going to be the whole spectrum probably. There's going to be psychos. There's going to be, do you know what I mean? There's a lot of, but all I was saying is, there'd be less probability and you'd have less experiences like that. Let me land. Bro, let me land, bro. Let me land, bro. If you let me land, then we'll be done. Fucking hell, bro.
Bro, you're not getting it out, bro.
Says you, and then you start giving some more fucking
100-hour fucking speech.
Says you, bro. Says you. Oh, you're mad. You brought up the whole conversation. Was going back and forth.
No. I brought this up and answered him. You wanted to jump in on it.
And then you didn't let me say shit.
Come on, let's just end
say
this.
Nothing.
The football talk, you get me, bro. You're talking about this, that, fuck all of that. All I'm saying is there's some good and there's some bad, bro. That's my opinion in it. So it's simple.
I had to have the last word.
That's
Listen, Arsenal. Let's get back to Arsenal, yeah? The Arsenal game was the first game of the weekend. Was it? It was the first game I watched of the weekend. And I thought Gabriel Jesus again.
Late kickoff, but it was on Saturday. It was in the first.
The first game I seen of the weekend. Jesus was on form again from the kickoff, and I think what was exciting for an Arsenal fan. I'm going to ask you your your perspective in a minute, but what I was imagining would be exciting watching is like, not only are the players playing well, not only have you got quality, but they were doing stuff tactically that I feel like I've not seen Arsenal doing before, or not doing that effectively and efficiently before. You're starting to see some of that, I don't want to say Pep blueprint, but do you know what I mean?
Now,
For
you're
a
seeing
back
something
four
brewing.
turning into back three, there's something going on that's more than just players. It's not like United tonight where it's just players putting in a good performance. This is systems that are working, well drilled situations, players performing at a high level, the right players in with each other, young, youthful. Like, there's a lot of shit to be excited about now. Like, how are you feeling? You still trying to keep your feet on the ground, or are you ready to be like, we're all in, let's go?
I'm not gonna lie, your NHS situation pissed me off, bro. That's not you know me, bro. I swear down, it's rattled my cage, bro. You know what I'm trying to say. But
You
now,
should have let me
putting
land,
all
man.
that,
You would have known that I was saying it's
putting all
nothing.
that,
It's all
no, no,
good.
no, 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 no. Because when I was even saying about there's people to replace them, you want to try to argue it back with me the point. So listen, bro, you get me. Don't talk about all that landing shit. Yeah,
Okay.
it is what it is. But let's talk about Arsenal anyway. Yeah, fuck all of that. But basically, there is definitely positivity, man. Pep Guardiola's done us a favor. Give us two players that have been very instrumental in what we've actually been doing within the first three games. Only team to record 3 victories. And to be fair, it's looking good, bro. It's an upturn in performances from last season. And I can't complain. I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season pans out. I'm trying to keep my feet on the floor, trying to stay level-headed, and just try to take every game as it comes, because as Arsenal fans, we know what can happen. It can come crashing down very quickly, bro. But yeah, from your side, are you missing Jesus? Are you missing Zinchenko? What do you see? What's your standpoint on it?
It is obviously funny this weekend with City coming unstuck at Newcastle, and Haaland got his goal, but he's also obviously he's missing chances and he's not looking like that force yet. Obviously, you do have a moment where you see Jesus going crazy and you think, could he have been doing that over here if he'd been just trusted to be that guy? Because it seems like Haaland's come in and they've given him that trust where it's like, we're going to change the system a bit. We're going to go through you. We're going to have you as the main outlet for goals. Like, they never really trusted and put Jesus in that position to be that guy. It feels like he's come to Arsenal and he's in that system and he just looks unplayable, bro. He looks unplayable. The ball's coming into him against bigger defenders, stronger defenders at mad angles, and he's shrugging man off, taking it down, beating man. He's going crazy, bro. And if he just keeps up like that, then anything is possible. Sometimes you get a season like that where one or two players in a team, like that was kind of how Leicester got there that year. They didn't have like necessarily the best squad, and the year after and the year before, they couldn't necessarily maintain to that top level. You know, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, whatever at that time was doing, but they had a quality team, they had a good thing going on, and then it just takes one or two players to have a season of their career so far. Hayes used to go crazy and get 30 goals or something, and all of a sudden, Arsenal, now you're in that conversation. Now it's like, yo, we're 8 points clear of City coming into January or something, because City slip up a few more times and Arsenal it's with Liverpool slipping up, bro. Obviously, City are going to be City. I won't read too much into the draw. But with Liverpool slipping up and that space opening up to maybe just have like a one-on-one race with City, Arsenal should try take this chance to really just be like, let's believe in ourselves, let's be bold, and let's.
Do you know what it is, though, Bish? You know, us fans and that, like, we've been so disappointed for years and years and years. And it's like, sometimes, you just got to look at the whole situation, bro. Like, we finished 8th twice, we finished 5th, We have brought in players that have improved the situation dramatically in the sense of our fluidity going in attack and giving us more energy, lifting players around us. We've improved, bro. But it's just the sense of, I know deep down in my heart, if Jesus gets injured or a Partey gets injured or a Xhaka, we haven't got adequate replacements, bro. And also, for me, we do need a different option, because if Jesus ain't working out in a game, and Eddie Nketiah comes on, I'm not saying Eddie won't do the job, but he's not really a different option to Jesus, and we can afford that striker because Aubameyang's gone, Lacazette's gone, so we've got that room for another striker there. And I feel if we got that, I'll be filled with confidence, thinking, you know what, Europa League is in the bag, we'll have it, because I think that's a competition we must go for, bro. I've had enough of being in this competition and not winning it, bro. It's embarrassing, bro. Like, it's embarrassing how we in the Europa League, for a few years and we haven't won it. It doesn't make no sense. Get top
True.
4, because Tottenham are looking well as well, bro. Like they're grinding out results that they would normally be losing or struggling. They're grinding out results. We move on to them shortly as well. So I can't see it just being a straight shootout with City and Arsenal. I'm not. Maybe it's because I'm not trying to put too much pressure on them as well. In a sense, just being a fan.
Just play.
Potentially,
We're enjoying it. Don't feel like now it's going to be a failure if you don't win the league, because if they keep this up this season and keep playing like this, you're going to be happy as Arsenal fan, really, innit? You don't have to set
bro.
that. Oh, now all of a sudden you got to win the league, or it's, you know what I mean? That
is a lot to put on them. If we could play like this and get 4th, it's not going to be a false position. It's going to be a position that's earned. And then it'll give you confidence thinking, right, okay, I'm going to give this guy some more time now, see what else he can add, and see if he can now push not just the top 4 barrier, but push for the title. And if he can do that and compete in the Champions League, then he's got enough credibility in his tank to then say, right, okay, we're backing him. We can see what he can do and what he can't do. Because you got to understand, this is a guy that hasn't had a lot of experience being a football manager. So you can only go for what he has done. You can't go off what he might do. Does that make sense? And I'm just staying level-headed, bro, and just thinking, right, just take it game by game, and just see where we go. But you can't deny the boys. Everybody looks rejuvenated from last season. Everybody looks like they're singing off the same hymn sheet. Pre-season, you can clearly see that they've all developed the bond and the harmony between the squad, and they've just took that into the season going forward, bro. I can't really big them up anymore, man.
Oh, that's good to hear, man.
I can't big them up anymore.
Considering how bad it was at the back end of last season and how bad the feeling was at certain times, to see this now and to hear it, obviously, I've got Arsenal's my second club, really. You know, I'm always rooting for you guys. Might start to change if all of a sudden you guys are competing with us, but until then, I'm rooting for you guys. And
few years until then, bro.
Yeah, man. And obviously there's that City connection with Arteta and Pep, with Jesus, with there's, you know, so I think but definitely Arsenal have got to not also pass up on, or not really take for granted what it can be for Liverpool to drop off in a season. That might be a one-time thing. So yeah, you want to give him time. You don't want to set the expectations too high, but also this might be your a good chance to try and get some space to go for at least, you know, top 2, for example. Because what happens if Liverpool come back next season and are just back to where they were and have added a few players, and now you've not only got to get better than 4th, you've got to get back to competing with what City and Liverpool have been doing for the last few years. So yeah, keep the expectations on the ground, but also I'm sure, you know, Arteta and probably the owners and everyone else will know you have to take your chances in this league, because the next season the whole level can have lifted again. And, you know, obviously Arsenal aren't Leicester, but we've seen how with Leicester it was the level stepped up again afterwards. And because they weren't Arsenal, and because they couldn't springboard from that title to be let's add more, let's keep all the top players, they had to sell players, and then obviously they weren't able to maintain.
Well, let's looking at Leicester City. Whilst we talk about Leicester, let's just stay on Leicester at the moment, because at the moment they're not really having a great time. I think there's a lot of unrest within the squad. Players looking to leave left, right, and centre. They've already lost a few players. They've not really recruited, and you can see there's a little bit of pressure starting to mount up on Brendan Rodgers now, because they were playing Wolves, not Wolves, Southampton. They were winning. And then they just got pegged back and lost the game 2-1. Now that's 2 defeats in a row for them. Yeah, obviously they got beat by us, got beat by Southampton. And can you see this Leicester team progressing forward now? Because I think they've hit a bit of a stumbling block where the belief is so shot within that team. You've got the odd 1-2 players like Maddison that will still do what he needs to do. I think Tielemans is checked out because he's looking to move. I think Fofana's checked out. What do you think about Leicester's situation right now, Bish?
I think if I'm a Leicester fan, or probably if I'm Vardy or certain Leicester players that haven't had the success that your Kantes and your Mahrez have gone on to have, I think you probably will have party that feels like the what if of if we could have kept that team together a bit longer. Do you know what I mean? If they could have won the title and just held off for 1 year on selling them all and managed to convince them all to say, look, let's give it one more season with this team. Let's add a few more players and let's try and hold that level for another year. obviously that was never going to happen. Leicester didn't have the resources for that. But, I think from that point and after the drop off, yeah, they still had quality components, and they've added other good players since that title winning team. But you could kind of feel like from then on, they were going in the direction of needing a rebuild. And now for probably at least the last year, they've hit that point now where it's like they have to say some hard goodbyes to players who, probably players like a Jamie Vardy, who have been top players for the club, scored loads of goals, probably still got loads to offer. It's not to say that James Vardy's washed. I'm just saying kind of letting go of that team that had won the league and any remnants of it, and really being like, right, what is the philosophy going forward? Who's the manager? If it's still Brendan Rodgers, what players does he need to be able to take it to that next level? If he can't take it to that next level, then who's coming in and steering this next stage? If they could get big money for Fofana, get big money for Tielemans, probably could still cash in on Vardy. That's enough money there that if they're clever about how they play it and they're willing to spend it, that's enough money that with the right manager, you could do a good rebuild of that squad. Do you know what I mean?
I think with the Tielemans, I think they're going to lose him a little bit cheap, because I think with this contract situation, they've kind of messed up in that situation, because I think he's got a year left on his contract. Say if they wait till January, they're getting pennies for him. He could sign a pre-contract agreement with a foreign club. So I think with the Tielemans ones, is a little bit. I think a team like an Arsenal or a United can go in there and really pick that player out for a cheap price. He'll add depth, add quality to the squad, and I think that's a bit of a trick that Arsenal should be tying down, really, because we do need that added depth in midfield. We've got obviously El Nene there, which they've given extension to, so you can't really see them bringing in any kind of cover for Partey. Sambi Lokonga's there as well, so I can see them maybe just adding one more midfielder. Now, with the license that Zinchenko's coming to the team to let Xhaka push forward, if that was a Tielemans that was pushing forward, would that be more effective? Would that be more attacking? Would it get you more goals? Personally, I think it would, bro.
Yeah, and I think, with Xhaka, I was thinking about Xhaka before when you was talking about Nunes and the Nunes red card. And something I was going to say on that is that, like, even if he's not got more red cards in him, because I think you said he looks like he could, and I probably agree with you, he does look like he's got more red cards in him. But even if he doesn't get another one, the level's been set so high in the Premier League, and the lines are so fine between, who wins and the amount of points that get dropped, that, like, even the fact that you could get sent off once in like a crunch point in the season, like the start of the season, or off the back of you dropping points at the start of the like, because he'd been sent off, he wasn't available today. That has obviously contributed to what they had available to them to try and beat United. Now they've lost to United. Now the season's in a real bad way, and he's still got 2 more games to miss. Like, for that to happen, I feel like the level's been set at a higher point now, where back in the day, there were certain players who just accept, like, yo, you take the red cards for how great they are the rest of the time. I think today, like, the lines are too fine with the amount of games you can afford to lose, and a red card, or having your top player out for 2-3 games afterwards is a peak situation. And with Xhaka, he has looked a lot better this season. And you do start to think maybe he just needed better players around him, maybe he was being asked to do things that weren't really his bag or whatever. But you also still feel like, I don't know if a leopard can change its spots. Do you know what I mean? If he's still got red cards in him, if he's still got wild moments in him, then that is the difference between, for example, if Arsenal are find themselves in a title race with City, those are the differences between you being able to win it or not. Those are the difference between you being able to win the Europa League. Because if you're in the semi-final and you're against a good European side, and then Xhaka gets sent off, all of a sudden it's like, yo, the whole season's potentially can go out the window from this one red card.
But you know what, though?
Afford players like that today.
I think with Granit Xhaka, yeah, it is a bit of hit and miss with him as well, because like you said, it's this season he has started off brilliant. But like we both know, like you just mentioned, there is going to be points in the season in games where he's potentially going to get red carded, and that's just standard, isn't it? Yes, one touch, Maichi. I was on stream with you as well the other day as well. You'll big up yourself, bro. Another game, another 3 points. We move, enjoy, but don't get carried away. You know what? One touch, yeah, I swear down. That's exactly what I'm saying. But just enjoy the wins, because last season, yeah, it was a sad three opening days of the season for us, bro. It was absolutely sad. So we got to keep it level-headed. But yeah, I just want to touch on now. Let's move on to Tottenham because they managed to get over the line and beat Wolves. And to be fair, for me, Wolves are the much better team. Obviously, I've seen bits and bobs of the game. I didn't watch it in full, but to me, it seemed like they were very lucky to get that victory. And that does show signs of development with Tottenham at the moment. As much as I don't like to say it, it's clear as facts, clear as day. You got Conte coming. Since he's come into that team, he's spent a little bit of money, brought in 2 signings in January window, got these man 4th position, beat us to it. Then now this season's coming, he's added squad depth and he's getting these man over the line in games that normally they would either draw or lose. So you can see real progression at Tottenham. Do you reckon they'll give you a run for your money if Liverpool are dropping out and with Arsenal?
I don't think what we've seen so far from Tottenham gives me any reason to think that. Yeah, Conte is a top manager. Yeah, it is a good thing when you're able to grind out results. You know what I mean? Grind out wins. But when people say like, oh, a team that's able to just get the 3 points even when they're not playing well, they're the kind of teams that win titles. I think that only applies if like that's happening sporadically. Like you're having a bad game here and there and still winning it. Not if like every week it feels like you're getting outperformed or, you just about kind of riding your luck to 3 points or to a point against Chelsea. Like they haven't looked convincing in any of the performances. Kind of the opposite to Arsenal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, they've still got top players and they're playing good football and getting wins, but they don't feel explosive to me in the same way. They don't feel like you can look at them and say I can fully see Conte's identity and philosophy and what he's trying to do playing out here. I think Conte's such a good manager that he could even be given a set of cards where like this isn't actually a complete set yet. Like I'm having to just kind of manage each game and each opposition in real time and just beat them whichever way until I've got, my players playing the way I want them to play and the right players in. But right now it doesn't look like it's clicking to that point where they would keep up with a City or an Arsenal. Yeah, it hits it on the head. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? Yeah, I'll read that in a second as well. I'll read that in a second as well. Yeah, but I agree with you as well with a lot of the points you're making. But I just feel like with Conte, I feel like that's his style of play, and I think we've seen it at other clubs before, where he's a counter-attacking kind of manager, where he likes to play with the back 5, he likes to sit, he likes to soak up the pressure, and he likes to pick his opportunities. And I think what Tottenham have done that's been quite impressive for me is that they've took them opportunities when they've had him and actually put the ball in the back of the net, where previous seasons they haven't really managed to do that when they have been playing badly or they don't look like the team on top. They do normally tend to mess up and fuck up them games. And this is just what I'm saying with the likes of a elite manager like Conte, like Klopp, like Guardiola. Normally, these managers have answers for teams as well. So this is the only reason why I feel like Tottenham could be pushing up there as well, along with Arsenal as well, along with Manchester City. I won't say we're going to be challenging for the title. No way we're going to be challenging for the title, bro. Believe me. If we do, bro, I'm just going to go mad on this stream, innit? Like, if we do start challenging for the title. But I just can't see it actually happening, bro, because you just got to be realistic with it. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And
you got to take
there's a lot of football to play. But let me add to this. Spurs don't scare me. I can't lie. They won't keep getting away with performing so badly. I see them getting a hiding soon. Average. They are getting it done. But at some point, they must play football. I agree. But I just, like I said, I feel like that's Antonio Conte's style of football, bro. And we've seen it time and time again at teams. Effective, but boring.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be enough to get it done this year when other teams are playing how they're playing. I think we haven't really touched on the City game yet.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that and touch on the Chelsea, because Chelsea got fucking thumped up.
there was some mad results again this weekend. Like, I looked back on our predictions. I didn't write them all down, but you did better than me. But there was a few that we'd got right, and there was a few that we just had never seen coming. And Leeds Chelsea was one of them that we just didn't expect, man.
Because they had a good performance against Tottenham with Chelsea, to be fair, even though the result didn't turn out in their favour in a sense, but they still had a good result, a good performance against Tottenham, innit? Like, they looked like the team more likely for the victory. than Spurs did.
Yeah.
But bro, they got thumped, bro, 3-0 by
Yeah.
Leeds, bro. And
Yeah.
Koulibaly only got sent off in the 84th minute. It wasn't even like the first 5 or 10 minutes, bro. Madness.
Again, bro, like you can't afford players that are just doing reckless stuff at this level, especially big name signings. You know what I mean? These aren't young players. These are like marquee signings coming in and getting sent off. Like, it's not a good look at the start of the season.
After scoring an absolute bad man of a rocket, the other day.
Yeah.
Remember that volley that he scored?
It's crazy. But then we've seen that with Saliba, to be fair. He scored that own goal, which was unfortunate, to be fair. And then he scored that absolute beauty of a goal.
Yeah, he didn't get sent off, though, fam.
Look at that. I know. That's different. And getting sent off is just bad decision making. You know what I mean?
It was ridiculous, man. I swear down. I think it was, what did he tugged him back and that? And it was just second yellow.
Yeah. It could have been a red, to be fair.
Do you reckon Chelsea have flopped it this season? Or do you reckon that they're a bit of a, they're going to be an up and down, a bit of a yo-yo team because they're in a bit of a transition with a new owner and stuff like that?
Bro, it gets crazy, doesn't it? Because if you start thinking, right, Liverpool, not guaranteed to be second, could be somewhere around the third, fourth point. Arsenal, we still don't know where they could land. If it's not the top, if it's not first, could be second, third, fourth. You could see it. Tottenham, you could see them coming second, third, fourth. Chelsea, I couldn't see coming second. But at this point, I probably couldn't see him coming third. I could see him coming fourth still. Do you know what I mean? I could still see that Tuchel team, when they play well, playing well enough to just blow a lot of teams away and get a lot of results and, just rack up the points. I think there's obviously something wrong there. There's certain... I don't know. I don't really understand how the change in ownership has affected them over there. I think the thing we got to remember with Abramovich is like, Abramovich, obviously I'm never talking about politics. Clearly that isn't our bag on here, but just as a owner, football club owner, there's not really been anyone we've seen like him in Premier League football. Like even the Sheikhs at City aren't like, Abramovich was really like what you imagine.
Ruthless
like
he was, bro.
Yeah, and kind of what you imagine like a fan to be like if they were in charge with dough. Do you know what I mean? Like guy really did seem like sometimes he was picking players that he wanted to play and, just getting rid of managers left, right and centre and getting a lot of his way, that ruthless, we fly through managers every other season. It's won him a lot of trophies. Do you know what I mean? They won.
He kept man on their toes, bro. Kept man on their toes. I'm telling you,
Di Matteo won the Champions League and got sacked. Imagine winning the Champions League and not getting another crack at it next season. So I think it's going to be hard we don't know enough about what he did behind the scenes and what he meant to the winning mentality of the club. We don't know enough about that to know what it's going to mean for Chelsea in the next few years. Do you know what I mean? No matter how good Tuchel is or isn't, like they could just be a flop for a minute just because him and his presence and that kind of ruthlessness isn't present in a new owner and it doesn't translate into a winning football club. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing these days. It's football clubs that win. It's not just a team or a manager. City are winning all this time because of Bergski and Omar.
Do you know what it is? City's structure is just unbelievable, bro. Innit? Like
it's the club.
They've had a good solid 10 years to really work at it, bro. And along the way, they've hardly made mistakes, and that's that's unseen, to be honest, in football. Like, maybe United had their period where they were just so dominant, but even during that period, they still made mistakes. They still had players that didn't work out to certain extents, like Varane and players like that. With City, as soon as a player don't turn out, they just rectify it straight away. No messing around. Get the player out, get a new player in. If a player comes into the squad and they're feeling a little bit of unrest, like Torres that came in, bro, straight out the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guardiola's quite open with saying Bernardo Silva's looking to leave and he's ready to move him on and bring somebody else in. So you can see that the structure that's going on at City, bro, is pretty sick. And whilst we're on the topic of City, 3-3 at Newcastle, is that City missing something or is that credit to Newcastle?
You know what? It's a weird one because you can take so much from this game depending on how you want to look at it. So start with Newcastle. great performance again. Do you know what I mean? It's not the first good performance they've put in this season, but a great performance. I think the atmosphere at St. James's Park, now that there's a good feeling over there, and off the back of what they've been through with, like, it's like with Mike Ashley, all that energy, all that love that you have as a fan was just being pent up in a bottle somewhere in a jar with no opportunity to express it. And all of a sudden, things are good again, and they've got new owners and a new manager and a new team, and they're playing attacking football. And as soon as it got to the point where they were, 2-1 up, 3-1 up after that Trippier free kick, I think at that point, the noise, bro, I had to listen to a little bit of it on the radio because I had to nip out. Bro, I couldn't hear the radio thingies. They're trying to, commentate on the game. The fucking noise in the stadium is like... So
did I tell you as well? Sorry to cut you. Did I not? I'm sure we mentioned this on Premier League Unpacked as well last season about when Arsenal went Newcastle. And I said, our away fans are sick, but that day we went, bro. You're up in the sky. You can't hear nothing. Them Newcastle fans are serious, bro. I'm telling you. Carry on, bro. They're serious.
And imagine what they're going to be like. Imagine what they're going to be like if Arsenal turn up there next week. You know what I mean? Off the back of beating City this season, starting well more. They're really they've got everything to sing about. So from the first minute, there's no it's on, and that is a hard. And then when the players that they've got are playing well and they're playing a brand of football that they're kind of doing what Liverpool have done at Anfield over the years. They get a really intense atmosphere, and then they have really direct, skillful, and also just dangerous players coming at you at speed. And that combined with the atmosphere, it's just the defenders, a lot of the time they can't handle it. Even in the top defenders, it breeds mistakes, it breeds openings. It's like the atmosphere just carries them forward every time. And Saint-Maximin, bro, I'm on here every week talking about how good Kyle Walker is a defender. I'm on here every week, aren't I? Yeah. Saint-Maximin, put him in his back pocket. But I don't think that was just Saint-Maximin versus Kyle Walker. That was Saint-Maximin in that environment, with that atmosphere, with the Newcastle. He's running at you and you're looking at him and you can almost see the noise from the fans as well, just behind him, just coming at you. And now when he's dropping the shoulder, and then even if he gets half a yard on you and you hear the crowd get louder, that's a lot to deal with as a... Yeah,
bro,
as a defense,
these man, you know what I mean? You got to give him credit. Them Geordies, bro, they got They've got a sick atmosphere, bro, and they really push and drive the team. That is a 12th man. That's a proper 12th man.
That's the true definition.
Get me? You're walking in, there's flags left, right, and centre, bro. It's a madness, bro. When I went there last season and I knew we had to win that game, I swear to God, bro, I stood there. There was a little balcony, just where the seat was. I had decent seats, to be fair. I was standing there and I was just looking at the pitch and the atmosphere thinking, oh, this is going to be a tough night. Tough night as well, especially under the lights. And bro, it's proven right, man. We ended up fucking our whole season up there, and then you know what I mean, absolutely wrapped it up. But I was surprised City went down 3-1. To be honest, I've not really seen City concede that many goals in a game, and just kind of. Yeah, man. What do you think? What do you think's happening with Pep at the moment? Do you think he's not really worried about the game, or do you reckon he's going to be looking at that thinking, "Oi, there's quite a few holes that need to be plugged in this City team"?
So we looked at it from the Newcastle perspective. Then you've got the negative City perspective, or just if you're a City fan looking at the negatives of the game, and obviously the negatives of just not getting a win like we always usually do, but also going that far behind, being that under the cosh at times. I think obviously there's been some kind of a system change, and there's a bit of an identity change with all of these players going out. Do you know what I mean? And Gabriel Jesus, it was all good terms. You've not heard a bad word about it, but he's going crazy at Arsenal. And with Sterling, I know we had that conversation on the show that day where he was talking about him not signing the shirts, and I was kind of repping for him. But since then, I just feel like he's been on a tour of just doing fucking interviews and little sit downs with people where he's just talking about how frustrated he was and how angry he was while he was at City that he weren't playing, and that. So it's obviously that leaves a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. And then Haaland's come in, and it's like they're trying to go direct to him, but in the moments when they're meant, Foden has had 2 weeks in a row now where he's been through, he's broke the lines, and he's had the opportunity to just square it to Haaland, and it's a goal. Do you know what I mean? It's an open net. And because false nine system that we've been running with for the last few seasons, oftentimes when Foden's getting into them positions, in fact, pretty much every time Foden's getting into them positions, there isn't someone that's that far up with him that there's often going to be that opportunity on to square it. Do you know what I mean? With Haaland, he's going to be there every time. And 2 weeks in a row, Foden's got through in that position and tried to finish past the goalie, rather than just playing the 3-yard pass to the clinical goal scorer that we paid all this money to be in that spot at that time, ready to take the ball and guarantee that it goes in the net. Do you know what I mean?
But do you reckon that's them learning? That's going to take time. That's them learning to say.
So at the moment,
big lump up front.
It's not quite clicking on that side. It's not quite clicking with like players like Foden and other players not quite knowing how to adjust that kind of instinct, because their shit's instinctive as well at City. Like Pep's just drilling shit to where you're in a certain position, you almost don't have to think unless you're just expressing yourself. It's like, I'm in this position, this is the pass you're meant to play, or this is where I'm meant to be stood. Like, so you're having to undo that in them situations for Foden. You're having to undo the fact that you might have been for the last 2 years in that position, be clinical, finish, put it in the bottom right-hand corner or whatever. And now it's a totally different instruction. On that side, it's a bit slow to get working. But then also on the Erling Haaland side, he's not quite into his groove yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On both weeks, there's been at least one chance where it's like, whoa, that was a sitter. He's got in there for the sitter, and he's kind of created the sitter for himself. And he scored again this weekend, and he was involved last weekend. So you're not like feeling like he's not performing, but he has missed sitters as well, and that's not what it said on the can. Do you know what I mean? This is meant to be the guy that's could score 100 goals, scores 10 goals in a game. Like, that guy doesn't miss anything from a 45 flipping yard radius. Do you know what I mean? Never mind 3 yards out. So obviously there's something not quite there with him yet. He's not quite clicking. It's going to take time. But the positive perspective as a City fan is at 3-1 down, with that atmosphere, with all of what we were just talking about before with Newcastle, to be able to keep playing your game and within like a 5-10 minute period of completely neutralized all of that and brought it back to 3-3, that kind of also showed the level that City are at. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? It shows character to come back. And
character
even when
and quality.
Especially even when you're losing too. It's just surprising when you see a City team that's quality, and we're so used to winning all the time, more or less, just more or less just folding a bit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's quite surprising. It's like, you know what, you touched on it as well, just on Guardiola, that with the City team, everybody knows the position, they know what they're doing, they know the system of play. And that's why I want to give massive credit to United today as well, because with Liverpool, even though they do have key players out, Klopp's got that system very well drilled. Obviously, they have lost the Mane and whatnot, but them players that have come in, they tend to know what their position is, what they're meant to do. And even with that being said, United still managed to get the result out of him as well. So I've just got to give them a bit more credit, bro, because I've been slating United over these last couple of days. And to be fair, I don't think it's going to be all rosy and that for him now, like all these United fans are thinking, getting gassed over this one game. It's not going to happen, bro, man. But any last thoughts for the people before we wrap it up, bro? The show's come to an end, dog.
I hate my fantasy league team all of a sudden.
Oh, God. Nah, you're doing well, you mad man.
I am. But I hate the fact you can only make one sub a week, because last week, I was like, get Arnold out my team. Maybe not get Salah out my team, but get Gundogan into my team. Like, there's been certain switches that I've wanted to make, but it's like, right, I'm going to have to do one a week. And this weekend, it was painful seeing Liverpool flopping and Arnold flopping, because I was like, I've been wanted you out of my team, but I've just not had the transfers yet to get rid of you. And Gundogan scored. I was like, I should have had him.
I've messed my whole situation up. Yeah, I didn't even understand. Obviously, this is the first time I'm playing fantasy football in years, bro. I didn't even know what the free hit was, bro. I'm thinking the free hit, is a wild card. No, I'm thinking the free hit's a wild card. You can just change all your players and you're live, you're nice. Yeah. And then I put in Zaha in the team, Maddison in the team, Harry Kane in the team. Put Trippier was on the bench and that. Messed it up properly. Everyone that I put in scored. But about a couple hours before I went to sleep that same night, bro, I thought, you know what? Let me take Harry Kane out, because John, we was having that conversation about not wanting players to do well, innit? You know what? Fucking hell, let me take Harry Kane out. You know what? I'll change Zaha. I'll change Maddison. I thought, let me bring some different players in, yeah, but
So he did a
absolutely
full fresh set of transfers. Oh,
bro, absolutely fucked it for myself,
that
yeah.
is the worst.
And then I was on the phone to
Yeah.
Kish today, and he's trying to tell me that, Ras, yo, that only 3 hits for 1 week. You're gonna go back to that same shit team you had before. I said, what? I said, what? So it's not even a wild card, bro. So it's a madness. People, if you're under fantasy football, yeah, join the league. It's running along the tick of the code. There's the links in the description.
100%.
Make sure you join the fantasy football league. Yeah, there's gonna be a winner for the prize, and that will sort something out for you. And make sure you have a good little prize. But people, it's been a good show. Go on, Bish, what you saying?
We'll be back before the games on the weekend, looking ahead to the next games, or we'll see how we go?
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll come back on Thursday. We'll preview all the games and that are coming up. Give you guys our predictions, and we are going to try to get fans on the channel. I know I keep saying it, but I promise you on Thursday we're going to aim to at least get 2-3 fans on the channel for a few minutes or so, just to give their thoughts around the team, regardless of what team they are. So make sure you tune in next week, people. Hit the subscribe button. Like the content, as if you don't, people, is not going to grow. You get me? It's 100%. All love between me and Tom. We've grown up since young, so don't even watch what's going on. This is just every day. This is just realness. This is what happens.
100%.
But no people, doubt. Peace and love, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Stay blessed, people.